Oh, hey everybody. Uh, hey Matt. Hey Geert. Good to see both of you. Hey TBA. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is on your side of the planet. Hi everybody. Can y'all hear me okay? Hopefully you can. Somebody could let me know. That would be awesome. Appreciate you guys being on, and I appreciate Thank you, Geert, for letting me know you can hear me. Okay, so appreciate you guys coming on today. We have daylight savings time in the U.S., so our clocks, in most of the U.S. anyway, so our clocks just went back an hour, so we got an extra hour of sleep. I tell you, I needed it. I've been crazy with the lack of sleep. Well, today we're going to cover a few R&B things, and then, as usual, chat it up. I got a lot of work this afternoon that I'm going to have to be doing. So if I don't answer all your questions, I hope you forgive me if I don't answer them until like tomorrow or something. But we'll try and answer as many live today as we can. All right. So let's start out with kind of what we're going to cover today. Let me see if I can focus that just a little bit sharper. That's a little bit better, I think. All right. Good. So we're going to be doing R&B guitar tricks. And now we did something on Steve Cropper not too long ago. There's a lot of similarity with that. I think what I'd like to do is just kind of show you a little bit about by playing a backing track here. And let's see if I can do this both at once. Let me know if you can hear the backing track okay. Here comes the thing. All right. Can you hear the backing track? All right, good. All right. Let's see if I can stop it now. All right. So a couple of things going on there. It's kind of like a bit of a funkified My Girl, right? You see that My Girl lick in there, right? But we're going to the F chord on that one. So there's a couple of things that are here. You'll notice that there's a lot of triads and that we're playing, and there's a lot of other things that are going on. So we covered a lot of that in the Steve Cropper lesson not too long ago. So some of the things that are going on there are, double stops. So either thirds, those are thirds. I didn't play too many fourths in this one, but a fourth would be, a third is basically a double stop where both of the notes are separated by 3. Like this is easiest to understand probably right here. Here I'm playing on the 5th on the 3rd string and the 5th on the 2nd string. So that's a C on the 3rd string, and that's an E. So that's the first or the root of the chord, and that's the 3rd. And same if I bring that up to the next level of the scale, and the next one, and the next one. Right? Those are all thirds. So those are good to play. They're fun to play. Second is sort of the the fourths. So I didn't play too many of those right there, but maybe I'll demonstrate some others. And those are just 4 notes away. So the most common one is this. Those sound great. I always love how those sound in R&B. So you hear a lot of that. Who's the guy? Cornell Dupree played a ton of those. Just sounded great. And then, of course, sixths. So sixths are, again, the same thing, but they're separated by 6 notes. So again, a sixth for the C right here might be, that's a sweet sound, right? That's a good one. And you heard me play. Right, that kind of stuff. So those are all good. And let's see. So we've got those intervals. Let's see. One other interval I want to cover is the octave. And of course, the octave is sort of a special case of those. It's separated by 8. And those are great to play in as well. I didn't play too many of those. Actually, I don't think I played any in that intro, but we'll play some other ones. And stuff like that. And we could talk about kind of how to play those. Hey, good morning, Frank. Good to see you. Good to see everybody on here. Hey, good to see you, Greg. All right. Yeah, I always love, thanks, Voicey. I always love the sound of fourths. They're great. And I love sixths, too. They're just so, everybody uses them. So, they're pretty common, but they're really sweet sounds. And love them. All right. So that's kind of that. Some other things to think about with R&B is I like to think of when I'm trying to back up songs, I like thinking of just triads that are slightly moving related to each other. So with that one, for example, and just kind of often changing what the bass note is a major theme. So you find like a lot of, I guess people call them inversions or sometimes slash chords. Sometimes they'll look like they have really weird names, but you've seen those with like C over E or something like that. And C or C/E, right? And it doesn't, see, oh, a little out of tune there. Not too bad. But let's see, let me make Rick Beato angry. I'll put the clip-on tuner on. All right, that's better. Better take it off right away. Anyway, you'll see a lot of slash chords in R&B. And kind of the more typical ones are like the one I just played here, right? This right here is a slash chord, really. It's a C, but I'm putting an E in the bass. So I'm putting a third in the bass. And you can put other things there, right? I could put a B flat in the bass, and then it's going to sound like a 7th chord, right? Or a different chord. And of course, you're probably used to this sort of sound quite a bit, and we played it this sort of sound right here, and I played that in the song too. Here, right here, it's an F, right? And then in the right here, there's a slash chord. It's really it's an F with a G in the bass. You can play it up here as well if you want to. And it just has that sort of suspended sound, which is really super cool. And I always loved it. So I tell you what, let's do another one. And this time we'll try and pull out some more of the stops. This one will be let's talk about the progression. So this is one that you'll hear. I'm trying to think of the songs that it would be with, but I'll have to think about some of those. But let's play through the progression. So the progression is an F, Well, let's play it down here. An A, a D, and then B flat / C. Okay, so that's the opening part is F. There's Otis Redding song that's kind of like that. It doesn't have that hanging suspended ninth chord, but it does, which is really the same as that slash chord. But it does have the that movement to the third degree of the scale, but you're changing the color of the chord. I'm trying to remember what it was. Steve Cropper played it. That sort of sound, right? But here we're starting in F, going from F to A, to D minor, to this beautiful chord there, right? Now we'll do it again. F to A, D minor. Now we're going to head to the B flat, but we're going to do a 2/5, which is common in jazz. R&B does a lot of, there's some link ups with jazz. So we'll go a C7 to F9 to our B flat. Use that suspended again. That's a B flat with a C. Okay, and now the kicker. We're going to go F, E flat, D. Oh man, that's weird. What key is that in? It's just an interesting transition, right, to get to that D chord. All right, and then we're going to take it home. G, B flat over C, back to the F. It's a beautiful progression, and it's really neat how it takes it there. So let's play the whole progression through. So I'll try and call out the chords as I'm going there. Okay, so we'll go F, A, D minor, B flat with a C and a bass, and we'll do it again. F, A, D minor, and now here's the transition, right? C minor 7, F ninth I'm playing, but it's just an F dominant. Back to the one chord now, which is a B flat. There's our suspended again, B flat with C bass. Now the weird part, we go to F, E flat, D. Right, we're playing D minor, now we're playing a D major. That color is really cool sounding, right? That change in color of the chord, minor to major. Very cool. All right, and we're gonna go to, we're just gonna bring it on home by playing the G, and then the B with the suspended, with the slash, back to the F. Isn't that beautiful? And the way I like to look at it is, if you look at it in triads, you really aren't moving around too much. And if I just play these triads on the fourth, third, and second string, I mean, those of you who follow my channel, you know I do this all the time. So if I play that F, look at this. I don't have to move at all to play the A. All I have to do is think about different voicing or different notes within those chords as moving, and that helps me understand it. Right? All right, let's see how we solo over it, okay? So I'm going to try and solo over that, and then I'll try and explain how I'm thinking about it, okay? We'll give this a shot. There's a lot of changes here, so if I play a few wrong notes, I hope you understand. All right, so here we go. So anyway, you can see too much time on my hands. Sticks a little bit different than this. Yeah, so you can see what I'm trying to do there is really sort of play by the chord, and I don't have the chord sequence. I was just doing this morning, so I don't really have the chord sequence totally in my head yet. Another way of playing it, however, is so over that F chord, you saw me playing something like this, right? And then I'm over the A chord. I messed up once, but all I'm doing is I'm playing that same sixth. I'm leaving a lot of space in there so that I get that. I'm just playing over that A chord very deliberately. And now I want to get back to the D minor. Of course, that's in F, right? And then over that B flat slash chord, I can throw in a little lick, a little blues lick over D minor there. So in the beginning part, you really have to only think about that A chord. And the rest of it is basically, if you want to think of it as D minor pentatonic, that's fine. You can just play D minor pentatonic licks, and that's going to sound great. But over that A chord, you can't, because you've got this note. You've got this note right here, which doesn't fit, right? So that's the chord. That's the chord that you really want to play deliberately over. If we continue on that, we've got a 2-5 to B flat. So you heard me trying to play one time some octaves. All I'm trying to do is get back into that B. Now I'm in a B major scale because I'm playing that 2-5 to B flat. I should have said B flat, not a B major, B flat. All right. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. And finally, at the end part where it's going to, that has to be played, I believe, very deliberately over, because that is we're simply playing F to E flat to D. And you heard me just playing on the top strings a little bit, those double stops. Right? And then back to my F major scale, D major scale for the ending part, where we're going to G. So stuff like this. You know, kind of stuff like that. Whatever. It sounds really sweet, I think. And I've talked to people before about, I think on this channel, of if you're just getting into jazz, or you're getting into more complicated chord structures, one, I think, great way to do it is to look at the chords and examine them pretty well, and then just pick a parent scale. And that scale is the scale that you're going to stick with, except over chords that really don't fit, like that that A chord doesn't fit. And also in the end where we're playing this, that D chord, that D major, doesn't fit. And one thing I was trying to do, but I messed up, was to really emphasize this note over the D major, the third of the chord. Because then when it goes back to the regular part of the scale, the D minor fits. And so I can just move a note there, and it's going to sound like I really know what I'm doing. Sounds great. So anyway, it's just a little trick of the trade. Yeah. So anyway, maybe we'll do a more in-depth one on some of this stuff. Yeah, I had another one maybe I was thinking about doing, was backstabbers. That's so cool. I don't know, maybe I'll demonstrate octaves on that, because it's so neat to play octaves on that. So backstabbers, let me see if I can the progression is kind of cool. It's got an augmented chord. So, that's another thing I wanted to say, was that a lot of times you will find weird chords in transitions with R&B, like that in the last one, that A major was. Right? It's just a transition chord to get to that D minor. But sometimes you'll find weird ones, like in the beginning one where I was playing this. And this chord right here That's an augmented chord. It's not, but as you can hear, it's not really the chord itself that matters. What really matters is that transition, and you're thinking about a line or a melody line or some sort of line that's moving in one of those triads. And so that happens a lot. So backstabbers, I think the natural key is C minor. Oh, that's not right. I think that's it. Yeah, and diminished chords are great for that as well. So that's what that one is right there. And of course, you can play it in different places. You can think of it as, slightly different chords because you know that, for example, an A flat major is very close to an F minor seventh. So you can substitute those chords. I'll have to do some chord substitution stuff later as well, which is all fascinating and a lot of fun. But I love thinking about movements within chords as well. And so if we do that, the backstabbers one, here I'm playing C minor seventh, or C minor, I mean. Now I'll play either a B6 or a G minor. Either way is okay to think about. Okay, so then F minor seventh, let's see, G minor seventh, and an A flat major seventh. Those are all very close chords. And then a G diminished, or G augmented. And you can see if I play this major seventh, it's the same form as the major seventh that you probably learned, the C major seventh, which was just this, right? But I'm bringing it up to A flat. And then if you look at the top two or the bottom two notes, all I'm doing is I'm keeping my thing here. I'm moving those down one fret. Right? So let me show you two things on this one. We're in the middle of this one. We may as well cover it at this point. So I'm going to show you two things. One is you can think of this song, even though it's weird chords, all the chords fit into a C minor scale, or into C minor. So you can play just a C minor scale over everything except where it hits that augmented chord. And in that case, you can play the C minor scale and it sounds great, but if you emphasize this one note or these two notes that really make it the augmented, particularly this one, it's going to sound like you're really following the rest of the band. Let me show you. We'll do it. And then we'll do some octaves and call it a day, I think. So let's see. Here's backstabbers. Overemphasizing that note, right? But you can hear it. When that augmented chord comes around, I'm emphasizing this. And it sounds really neat if you can work it into something that sounds good. All right, let's do some octaves here. It's just too much fun. It's all just too much fun, isn't it? Anyway, I love R&B because it's kind of like, I don't know, to me, it's kind of like music. It's like jazz if I actually like jazz. I shouldn't say that because it's kind of mean, but I like swing music a lot. If I listen to like 1930, like Louis Armstrong, and if I listen to like Django and Charlie Christian, I like that kind of stuff. But as soon as jazz hits bebop, I stop liking it anymore. But R&B sort of has those smooth elements in it. I just dig the music. And so anyway, it's a nice way to get into how do I play over changes that are more than just picking one scale. And it's safe too, because you can play over one scale generally, but if you don't, it's kind of fun not to, right? So you can follow some of that stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I didn't have anything else. Who are some of your favorite R&B guys that you either guitar players or just, songs that you listen to? I'm a huge fan of R&B. Always have been. I don't know. I play. Those of you who probably know this. I played in a Motown band, but it was really an R&B band when I was a young man. JD and the Motown Revolution, we were called. Yeah. Anyway, that was the best band I ever was in terms of playing. We played all over the place. A lot of fun. Yeah. Pat Metheny, unlistenable. I like some of his stuff, but boy, some of it, I agree. It's unlistenable. Brilliant, though, for sure. Yeah, Motown. All right. Steve Cropper. Good stuff. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Geert, also in that last one, when you're playing very deliberately over those chords, you can pick a diminished scale to play that as well. So you can play that and it'll sound good. So, diminished chords are good as transition, as you were saying. Copper, Macy Gray's first guitarist. Okay, yeah, I like Macy Gray. Macy Gray's great. I mean, I like this stuff a lot. I'm super into Al Green and Stevie Wonder and Curtis Mayfield and stuff like that. And I love the Motown stuff. Joe Messina, you probably never heard of Joe Messina. Joe Messina is the backbeat guy on all of the Motown stuff. And he is an absolutely amazing jazz guitarist. Well, he's very old now, so he doesn't play too much, but he is an absolutely amazing jazz guitarist. And he's a super nice guy, owned a jewelry store in Detroit for years and years. It was a great joy to play with him. Super nice guy. I think I said this story before. I was with a bunch of guys that were of cats, right? It was jazz thing. I was by far the worst player in the room, by far. It wasn't even close. And I got so many dirty looks, except from Joe. Joe was like, "Man, that sounded good. Yeah, keep it up, keep going." And he was just really encouraging. It was good. So cool. Yeah. Yeah. Is he the only one that's left of the Funk Brothers now? Fenderman 73? I didn't know that. Tommy Castro. Yeah. I mean, Cornell Dupree, those guys, David T. Walker. Oh, okay. David T. Walker. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys are just unknown. Once it's a mistake, twice it's jazz. I love it. I don't know. Those, a lot of people know. Oh, I didn't know that Eddie Willis just passed. That's unfortunate. No, they're getting old, right? We're all getting old. Johnny Guitar Watson, you got it. I love Johnny Guitar Watson. Great player. I love Little Milton too. Little Milton's really good. Hey, Steve Douglas, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. T-Bone Walker. I think of him as a little more bluesy, but yeah, I mean, obviously T-Bone Walker, of course. Teeny Hodges played with Al Green. Okay. Cornell Dupree, Booker T. Oh, Booker T and the MGs for sure. I mean, right? Steve Cropper was the guy with that. All right. Anyway, yeah, the guy for Average White Band was really good. I agree. They were good. I was just listening to I listen to stuff when I walk, and I was just listening to a mix, and I forget. I'm trying to remember what was the song of Average White Band that came on. It was so good though. It was Tonight I Want to Have You All to Myself or something like that. I mean, it's a lot like How Deep Is Your Love, no question about it. But It just hits the right notes there. Nice transitions, good music. It's music, you know, it's musical music. That's what I like about it. Work to do. Oh, best song ever. I don't know about best song ever. I like. I'm a huge fan of a couple of Gladys Knight songs. A few of them. I love her voice. It's not like it's not. She's a diva. Obviously, was a diva, but it's not like one of these perfect voices. It's a little bit crackly, and she makes mistakes. She puts herself out there. Feels more vulnerable to me. So I love it. Atlantic Avenue. No, it's the do do do. I can't remember. It's got to be that way. Oh, I love that song. I love that song. And of course, neither one of us wants to say goodbye. The end part where they where they have that additional chord that's in the chorus. It's great. Just great stuff. Staples. Yeah, all great stuff. It just makes you happy, you know? It's a happy music. It's happy music. Sly's real good too, although, you know, Sly was a crazy dude. Didn't I think the Family Stone still plays, but without Sly. Yeah. Larry Carlton was on neither one of us? You're kidding me. I didn't know that. No kidding. Oh, and that's so cool that you were at university with Average White Band. I always think that's really funny. You know, that name was really funny. Average White Band. Yeah, they're not really average. Yeah, Booker T and the All-Star Band for sure. Okay, he did the wah wah. Okay, very cool. Well, I mean, you know, he was obviously around. His work with the Crusaders and all that kind of stuff. You know, he was obviously around those days. All right. Hey, Two Bike Mike, glad you could join us after shopping. All right. Well, I'll tell you, pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's all really good stuff. It's. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I think if you listen to, I'm getting old, right? Is the thing. But I was listening to sort of the top songs from like 1940 all the way to today, top songs of the year, and around the year 2000. They all kind of just become rhythmic chants, and they're sort of it's sort of like one chord vamps, and they just kind of sit there, and they're more like chanting, and it's about that. And it wasn't exactly at the year 2000. I mean, occasionally you get another one that's more structured music, but up until then, it was kind of structured music. I mean, I make no bones about it. My favorite stuff is the late 60s, early 70s, both rock and R&B and jazz too. I mean, I like how smooth, how hard bop transitioned into smooth jazz before Kenny G ruined it. So Kenny G and some of the other people ruined it. Pick up the pizzas. I never heard that. I gotta use that one. All right, gang. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm happy to do a more in-depth lesson on this one with, you know, some of these tunes, maybe to do them and to do some soloing over them to discuss a little bit more of the song structure and what's going on in a little bit more a less cavalier way as I did today. All right, but unfortunately, I got to get back to work, and it's not a honey-do list. It's actually work. So I apologize for that. Hey, it's good to see all of you guys. Robert, James, WS, Fenderman, Two Bike Mike, Embry, Geert, Matt. And if I missed your name, I apologize. So many of you coming in. BRP, 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 BRP. Always good to hear from you guys. Jim and TBA, Greg. Good to hear from all of you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Oh, I was going to say, I'm doing one thing here. Very shortly, I'm going to be publishing a microphone review. I know I don't do this. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, please. You know, they sent me a microphone and said, would you review it? I wanted a new microphone. So I was like, yeah. So I did it. So, you know, I'm not I get there's no endorsement money or anything like that. I just got a new microphone. So, which was kind of cool. All right. Have a great Sunday, everybody. And we'll see you on down the road.